Today I have a very special guest speaker who has been brave enough to come here and tell her story. I won't spoil it for you, but I will give you a little bit of the background. I had the privilege in 2011 to meet a very special young man, Gareth Hickey. You might be familiar with him, those that have been to the lunch before. He's certainly on our website, but he's also been on our pamphlets and things that we've used previously. When I met him, he was very, very unwell, but full of hope for the future. He was newly engaged and very happy to be marrying the beautiful Ricky. Yet he felt upset that he was not able to assist her in the organisation of the wedding. His dream was at least to be able to organise the honeymoon, and he asked me for help. The week before his wedding, he posted, "What is life without happiness? Don't ask me, I wouldn't know. 2 more sleeps until I marry the love of my life." Please welcome Ricky.
Let me know if I'm screaming at anyone from up here. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank Louise for allowing me the honour to come and speak today about a dream which is very, very special to me. So my husband Gareth was diagnosed in September 2011 at the age of 22 with rhabdomyosarcoma, an incredibly rare cancer which begins in the muscular tissue but is incredibly aggressive and can spread to all organs, the bones and any other tissue in the body. This cancer is relatively common in young children with quite a good survival rate, but unfortunately once found in adolescents and young adults, the odds aren't as good. It is with a heavy heart that we all recognise that most people in their life will be affected by cancer in some way, whether that be a loved one, a friend, a work colleague, etc. And I'm sure many people here today can relate to the difficulty dealing with an initial diagnosis and the incredibly daunting treatment regime that will follow. There are many wonderful organisations out there that are available for cancer patients, and many of them look at children and childhood cancers. But who is to say that adolescents and adults don't have dreams too? The work that Louise and the Dreams2Live4 team do has an enormous impact on cancer patients, their families, carers and loved ones. To be offered an opportunity, but more importantly, simply being asked the questions, if you had one dream, what would that be, has an enormous impact. This takes the mind away from the countless amount of tubes which are currently inserted into your body. It takes away the fact that you are no longer living a normal life. It takes away the fact that you have lost all your hair. It helps you forget for a short while that you currently spend more time in a hospital than anywhere else. And the fact that when you look in the mirror, you don't really recognise yourself anymore. The simple question, do you have a dream, puts the mind in a state of fantasy. If I could make anything possible, what would that be? And finally, for a while, the things that feel like they are impossible, due to not working, lack of money, the treatment regime and appointments, may all of a sudden be closer than you ever imagined. Looking back, fate provided Gareth and I with an incredible gift. Given the rarity of his cancer, the need to move from Newcastle to Sydney for treatment placed us in the eventual arms of Dreams2Live4. If we weren't placed in the Prince of Wales and remained in Newcastle, a dream to Gareth would have never been an option. So a huge congratulations to the team today for now being able to allow people fighting metastatic cancer all over Australia to have an opportunity to a dream. I remember the day that Louise got in contact with Gareth and myself. At the time, we were living the typical life of cancer fighters. Living in the hospital, sleeping on a trundle bed by his side, constantly talking to doctors about chemo, medications, radiations, appointments, scans, etc. But whenever Louise entered the room, she was like a breath of fresh air. A warm, vibrant, bubbly personality who always wore a huge smile on her face. She had the understanding and compassion to relate to our situation and provided a nurturing environment for Gareth to discuss the probability of a dream. Gareth had been told weeks prior that after having a break in his treatment regime, the cancer had grown back and was no longer being responsive. This meant there was little more that medical treatment could do to help us fight his cancer, and Gareth would be kept comfortable, but it would eventually pass away. This news was completely shocking, and as I'm sure many of you can relate. I remember one of the things that came into my mind whilst gripping Gareth's hand so tight, eyes welling with tears, and listening to the doctor say what was unimaginable. But we were supposed to get married, live a long, happy life together. Turns out that unfortunately that wasn't supposed to be. But the good news was getting married was the first thing on Gareth's mind as well. So within 6 weeks, the wedding was planned, and the enormous amount of help with some incredibly kind and generous people. The day was amazing in every way, and to have the opportunity to announce and formalise our love together after 6 years of being together as high school sweethearts, we were incredibly happy. When asked what was his dream, Gareth, being typically him, take my wife on a honeymoon. Initially, Gareth's dream was to go to Hamilton Island, and did Louise jump on that? It felt like within days she had an amazing honeymoon planned and presented to us. Unfortunately, given his quick decline in health, doctors had grave concerns about the travel and the care that would be available in an emergency. Heartbroken and downtrodden, Gareth's dream had disappeared. Just another thing to thank his cancer for. But Louise was determined to give him a dream at all costs. This is when she really went to bat for Gareth, and at this time consulted with doctors around what would be possible. Surely enough, within probably hours, she had a new honeymoon ready for us, and the best part was it already had doctor's approval. He would get it. Gareth would get his dream, and what a dream it was. We were given a 5-night getaway in the incredible Gaia Health Retreat in Byron Bay. So we set off after a beautiful wedding on the 8th of June as two young people madly in love. But most importantly, we felt normal. Just with a lot of drugs and morphine in tow, but we didn't mind. Driving up the coast of Byron Bay was about an 8-hour drive with an overnight stop at Coffs Harbour. Arriving at Gaia Retreat was like a dream come true, quite literally. Nestled amongst the rolling hills of the hinterland mountains, the entire retreat was like a tranquil rainforest, and that made all our previous worries slowly drift away. Our time there was amazing. The setting allowed us to be away from the crazy world that we found ourselves in, and gave the two of us incredible quality time with one another, which we may not have received if it wasn't for Gareth's dream. Passing the hours by in the tranquil, secluded bungalow, just being with one another, was the most amazing gift for us to enjoy. The memories and true quality time, which was no one's but our own, was truly precious. It allowed us to be together, to laugh, to cry, to joke and clown around, thanking our lucky stars for having each other, our beautiful wedding day, and our amazing honeymoon. As many of you may be aware, time for those affected by cancer is well and truly the most valuable commodity life has to offer. Something that unfortunately many of us don't realise until you're in such a terrible situation. Beyond the gift of time, by being offered a dream, Gareth was able to fulfil a burning desire of his own. I'm not sure what it was and why the only thing he seemed to want to do was take me on a honeymoon. Whether it was a male thing like he felt like he had to, or whether it was a thing that it felt like he could repay me some way. I'm not so sure. But having that dream come true was truly the most important thing for Gareth and meant the absolute world to him. Needless to say, at the end of our 5-day trip, we were not ready to head back. So we thought, what the heck, let's just keep going. So we went up the coast a little longer for a little bit further. Yet another opportunity we wouldn't have had without his dream. We eventually came home, and our first appointment back to the hospital was unfortunately the last time Gareth left hospital ever again. Gareth passed away on the 19th of July in 2012. Less than 6 weeks after our wedding day. I cannot put into words the gratitude that both Gareth and I have for being offered a dream by such a wonderful team of people. I will never be able to thank you enough or repay you such an important and special time in mine and Gareth's life. Get it together. As a result, I also want to thank everyone here today for your support, and to all those people that give ongoing support to this wonderful, wonderful charity. To Louise and her team, you are an incredible bunch of people doing an amazing thing for so many people. Without the work that you do and the support from people here today, mine and Gareth's dream may never have come true. So So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I would now like to present a small donation of $3,500 to Dreams2Live4 in the hope that this can help other people's dreams come true on behalf of Gareth, Jared and I.